to go over some charts because I think Friday was a bit of a game changer for us. And what typically happens on a Friday of a week that's been down is that volatility usually comes in, which means it goes down. And we correctly took that trade, and then news came out at 1 o'clock, and it wasn't just any old news that quickly gets absorbed and moves on. This was the FBI, obviously the FBI revelation that they're going to reopen the investigation, and I think now it puts things into, I think, disarray to the election, and I think it's time to be really careful. I don't know if those who lived through 2007, 2008 into 2009, once news starts to really dominate the market, then I think we're in a lot of trouble, and I think that's what's going to happen now. There's just going to be rumor after this, after that. And I think we're going to have to be really careful. And one of the things now that we're watching is what I trade the most is volatility, and since Friday was an up day for volatility, it puts this number in play for VXX. I mean, we can literally go 30. We can go up 20% in the next week and a half. And so I hate going long. In fact, I was long for a little bit and got out expecting a turn down on Friday. But I think there's going to be a lot of people covering themselves going into the election for Tuesday a week. And so we obviously have a buy signal on it from here, and I think when it gets up in this area here, sometimes it can what they call embed, and I think that's what is probably going to happen, and I think this market's going to push up. One of the mistakes that I make a lot as a trader is, especially with volatility, is when I think it has peaked, and sometimes it does a double pump on you and catch it the wrong way. And I think in this case, I think it's going to wiggle around, but I think it's going to try and beat this high that came in early part of September. So I wouldn't be surprised to have VXX push up and try to break a higher. It's definitely gonna put this number in play here, the high from a week ago. And to give us some perspective is if you look at the VIX itself, it's pushing up, and what we got to watch now is if we get a push higher here, and if we want to go out and look at the weekly to get some perspective how high this could go, is that people really start getting really nervous. From 16 to 27 is a pretty big move, and that's not outside the realm of possibilities. And if you notice here, about every 3 months you get some sort of a blip, and then this was pretty calm, the spring calm, and then the summer calm, and now we're back into the fall chop again. And so I wouldn't be surprised to have this thing push up, try to get to the top end of this band before it recedes. And I don't know when it's going to recede, actually. We go right from the election into worrying about the Fed. So, the safe thing to do is to shorten your positions, meaning I would be more conservative and to probably take a position long in volatility, but that's not the only play. And one of the things that happened Friday was a good tell for us, is that they as soon as the news came out on the FBI, gold was selling off and got a bid, and oil was rising and fell, and natural gas was I have a weekly here, so sorry, it distorts everything. Let me go back here. So if we go back to gold, is look, this is a move here where that news came out, gold popped, and so this is that's a tell for us. So, one thing to kind of keep in your marker here is that the market doesn't like uncertainty, and it'll definitely run to gold. And they've been playing pretty hard with oil, and the oil market didn't like what happened, and so that sold down. And then a play that we're watching that's kind of outside the markets is watching natural gas is more of a weather play, but it caught a bid after that news as well. And so these are things that kind of, to keep in mind. Another stock that we're definitely looking pretty good at going into 2017 is JJG. All the news is lining up nicely, and every time it's been hitting against what is called a moving volume weighted moving average line, is that it hits and it bounces. And so, what I've been advising people in is when it gets overbought in this area, you take some profit. Gets down to the VWAP line, you can add two. And for me personally, is that I'm long JJG into next year. I'm not really touching it. It's just been on a nice steady grind here. And this is one thing that's kind of outside of the abilities of the central bankers to really screw around with. This is really being driven by the changes in the climate, primarily with going on with La Nina, and secondarily what's going on with the oceans. And then the third level is the sun is getting more quiet, which is sending less energy to the earth to begin with. So, when people ask me, hey, what should we buy and just hold on to, is that I first thing I tell people is to get a hold of this JJG. The Chinese are buying soybeans like it's going out of style, and so that tells you that their harvests are not going very well. And in fact, there was a report on IceAgeNow.info that said they have a lot of harvest trapped in the fields, and it's bitterly cold now, and it's snowing, and I think it's going to affect their harvest. And one thing the Chinese know very, very well is that when you have food shortages in that country, the leadership there changes, and not in a pleasant way. And so our Federal Reserve knows this too. And so what's going to stop the Federal Reserve is going to be food and food prices. That's where the Arab Spring came from. It was food prices. In 2007, 2008, what stopped it was the rice shortages in Asia. The one before that was in 1999, 2000. It was a combo effect, a hangover from the millennium spending and rising food prices again. And it goes on and on and on. There is a cycle here, and the cycle now is telling us to buy. And that goes with also another food stock that we like, and you are very familiar with it, and it's coffee. And so, the price of your Starbucks is going up. Look at this chart. It's just a thing of beauty, and it's constantly moving up for those who just don't even want to mess around with it. But you want to make 10 or 15% on your money minimum. You just can stick this in a drawer and pick it up next year. And if you want to make 100% on your money like we do, just follow the trades of getting in and getting out, or adding and reducing, and you're going to make some good money. And so where we are right now is that, it hit a top area. We reduced from this move up higher. And so our expectation is for it to drift down. We're never getting completely out because the trend is up and it's our friend. And so if we get any movement back down to the mid 23s area, we're going to be adding back to our position in coffee. And it's going to affect Starbucks. They've already raised their prices 10%. And look at that chart. The chart's going the other way, isn't it? So, you want to be a seller of Starbucks if you own it. You want to own coffee in your home, and you want to own the Joe stock to protect your coffee interests as prices go up. So I just wanted to share some things with you. The market's doing some tricks, and here I want to give you some treats. So enjoy Halloween, be safe, and just remember there's a bull market in everything, and we'll bring it to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.